Morning everyone, and welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we discuss all things entrepreneurship and running. It is a very wet morning. It feels about 2 to 3 degrees, but it's misty rain. It just looks like the heavens are about to open, so fingers crossed I get this done before I get absolutely drenched. And it's Tuesday Tactics today, where I talk about all things business, systems and outsourcing, and things you can kind of integrate into your business or life that can make a difference now. So today's topic is the simple Zapier automations that I use on an everyday basis. So as always, if you like this episode, please give it a like and a subscribe, and let's get started. So Zapier, what is it first and foremost? I'll probably go into this in a lot more detail in future episodes, but I just want to give you a very high level, easy overview today, so you can kind of understand and kind of learn what the tool can do for you and how it can make a massive difference. Well, simply put, Zapier is an automation tool which makes the process of kind of linking two pieces of software together, where historically you may have had to get a programmer or coder in place to code two pieces of software together so that data passes between each, into a really simplistic platform that anybody can use. So it's just a really simplified way of connecting APIs. I can't exactly remember what API stand for, but it's how two pieces of software will knit together or link together to share data. Okay, so why is this important? Well, there's loads and loads of occasions where you're using a piece of software, which is great, and then you're using another piece of software to do something different, which is also great. But then if those two just talked and triggered actions on each other based on, you know, something that happens in one piece of software can trigger an event that happens in another piece of software, it can just make the whole process so much slicker and more efficient and take out the need for human intervention. So it's a really simplistic automation tool, and anybody can pretty much get started with it. Now I'm pretty technical, but I'm anything but a programmer or coder. Anything like that is just throws me in, you know, the amount of times I kind of Google solutions to things and realise very quickly that it's probably above my pay station when it comes to automation and kind of that side of things. So I suppose Zapier kind of, I was introduced to Zapier maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been game changing. And I'll go through a few examples of how I use it, but if you think about the common turn, if this, then that, you know, phrase, that's basically what Zapier is. If something happens here, then that happens there. It's as simple as that. That's what Zapier is going to do. Zapier is going to be the link which connects it together. Now, it's also free. Okay, so if you just go zapier.com, you'll find it. I'm not affiliated with Zapier, by the way, and you get quite a generous sized free account. So there's quite a few automations you can kind of use. Okay, they're only single step, but to get started, it's amazing. You can use it for free. As you start building out more complicated automations, as you get more familiar with the platform, then you need to start paying for it. But for today, I'm just going to talk you through some of the simple Zaps. They're called Zaps, okay, when you connect two apps together in Zapier's world. It's called a Zap. I'm going to talk you through a handful of kind of Zapier Zaps that I have set up. So one easy one here is, okay, so I've talked about emails, for example. Well, email inboxes are amazing. You can generally find emails based by something in the body of the email, something in the subject, who sent it, date ranges. Searchability is quite good. The one thing you can't search for, you can search with whether it's got attachments or not, but you can't just search the information in the attachment. So if you're trying to find a document that someone attached in an email, unless you can remember a lot of specifics, it can be very difficult to locate that. Whereas I have a Zap that sets up where basically it says that any email that arrives in my inbox that has an attachment, it gets zapped across into Evernote, which is my note-taking software. Now the reason that's so cool is that Evernote has OCR technology, optical character recognition capability, so that any document or anything that goes into Evernote reads it and understands the words, then you can keyword search. So basically I can then go to Evernote, search for any keyword. So if I was looking for, I could go for British gas, for example, and a property address as a search, a long form keyword, and it would produce everything that's got British gas and that property address. So it would find that attachment for me that I would have otherwise found really difficult to find in my email inbox. If I searched for British gas, I've probably got 50 or 60 different emails to go through to find it. So that's one little tiny little zap, but it just makes a huge difference being able to search for something in a couple of seconds, whereas historically it may have taken me half an hour to find, trawling through the abyss of an email inbox. The other one you can do is Google Drive documents. So if you use Google Drive to store your documents, again, finding stuff in your folder structure is generally searching by title. You can't find things within the body of each document. Again, I've got a Zap that sends anything new that's saved to my Google Drive, goes into Evernote, and then it's keyword searchable, so I can find any document in Google Drive very quickly by using Evernote. So there's a couple of examples how I use Evernote there to make my kind of daily life a lot easier. I work from Asana, okay, which is a project management software. So I have several Zaps that are pulling information into Asana for me. So, for example, if I'm looking to, if I might want to see a report of all of the expenses that have been uploaded to Receipt Bank being a piece of software that scans receipts that goes automatically into your bookkeeping software. It seems to be bookkeeping software, but people are scanning receipts in all over the company, out in the field and everything. It all goes into one central place. I have a Zap set up so that any new Receipt Bank entry gets added to my Asana account in a project, so I can see in a list format all of the different attachments, all of the different receipts that are going through in real time without having to log into multiple other pieces of software to capture that information. So again, that's really, just going past some people here. 1 second. Morning guys. So it's that's another a really cool way. The other thing I do is I do a lot of email capture or lead capture through ManyChat, which is a Facebook chatbot. Okay, I use Kartra as my kind of marketing automation tool, which is my email marketing, landing pages, CRM, etc. So how do I get, if somebody signs up and gives me an email address in my Facebook Messenger bot, I have a Zap which links my Messenger bot to my CRM so that it can trigger that email being added as a new contact in my CRM, and then it can automatically go into my nurturing sequence where emails are automatically sent out to that individual. So again, that's another really cool way if you're capturing email addresses, being able to port stuff across. A lot of other things you can do is you can use you can export data from place to spreadsheets. That's another way of doing it. So you can, if I wanted to report on an Asana report in live, in real time basis, I could set up a Zap which would port any new information in an Asana project into a spreadsheet, which then makes it far easier to report on. I could have template spreadsheets set up so that it does the reporting for me automatically. So again, you can create automated reports through this. I could have spreadsheets that are being updated that I zap in back into Asana, so new spreadsheet entries could update an Asana platform or other software. So I'm just giving you lots of kind of real high level, really simple one-step out Zaps here. You can do lots more complicated things. You can do multi-step Zaps. So, if I do this, then that happened, and then that triggers something else. So you can do things that trigger, a vast array of actions to really, increase the automation side of your business. And I want you to really understand that it's hugely powerful, this, because we're going back. It wasn't long ago where getting any form of automation in your business would cost you thousands and thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of pounds, getting specific software written for that purpose. Now that platforms like Zapier have been created, another one, so I think Integramat's another one if I remember rightly, a bit more complicated, so I stick with Zapier. But since these have been around, it's kind of opened people's eyes to the efficiencies of automation that wasn't accessible several years back. So cash in on this opportunity and you can get started for free. So I've given you just an array. I mean, if you go into Zapier, you'll see it's quite nicely laid out. You can search for what apps you're looking to connect, and then it'll give you all the lists of triggers and actions you can kind of use. So you can kind of go through that and have a look at, just punch in the different software packages you use and look at how you can connect them and have a play around with it and see what you can create. Because those little zaps that I've talked to you about there, compounded over the course of time, have probably saved days or weeks of time for me and my business, or for people I'm paying in my business to do if it wasn't going to be me. You know, so the cost saving and the efficiency you can drive from a simple tool like Zapier is huge, and it's something that you should definitely consider and look into a bit further. So I'll go into some more complex videos on this further down the line, but I think I've served my purpose today, and I've given you a real high level overview of how you can kind of knit different things together. So hopefully it's kind of given you a kind of inspiration that you can actually set automation up in your business as well, and you don't have to be a kind of techie or a coder or a programmer to kind of do it. So if I was going to summarize this episode, Zapier is an automation tool for being a user-friendly way of connecting, you know, two or more different pieces of software together without having to be a coder or a programmer. So that's ultimately what it is. And I strongly recommend you go to the website, create a free account, and punch in the different software packages you use and look at the triggers and actions, and you'll start getting familiarity with some of the capabilities that the tool has. Play around, it's really easy to use once you've played around with it a little while, and it also tests the zaps for you before they go live as well, so you can test that they actually work, and you know, open your eyes to the world of automation. So it can make a massive difference. I have maybe kind of 15 or 20 out of zaps running simultaneously at any time, but if something new happens, the first thing I'm thinking about when I'm process mapping things is, you know, who needs to do this? Does somebody in the team need to do this, or can I automate it? And although there are certain situations where something's super integral that you might want a human or a person to do, but more often than not, you can get it done by automation in a more efficient and effective way. Then automation is the way to go. There's always a place for people. I'm not saying replace people, but for simple little, you know, automations, Zapier is amazing. So, hope this is useful. As always, if you've got any questions on this stuff, drop me a comment, I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. If this is irrelevant information for you, just unfollow me on your social platforms and it will stop cluttering up your news feeds. But you don't have to unfriend me, just unfollowing me will stop my content blocking up your feeds. But do check out the Runpreneur YouTube channel before you do that, as I do a different topic on every day of the week. So just because today's topic may not be relevant for you, tomorrow's or the day after's may be very relevant. So check out the YouTube channel. It's a completely free resource and everything's catalogued nice and neatly by topic. So it's easy to find, should be easy to find stuff. So that's pretty much it. All I have to say is that the Runpreneur blog was set up to help entrepreneurs and business owners overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise, or in my case running, as a release valve or release mechanism to manage and control these emotions. You know, without a daily or weekly release mechanism to kind of relieve the pressures in the form of stress, to maintain clarity and focus and stay in control, the pressure builds and builds and builds, and it evolves to overwhelm if it's not managed. Overwhelm, you start freezing and panicking, and before you know it, you're starting to move into the realms of mental health challenges, of anxiety and breakdowns, okay? And we really want to avoid those. It's not a good place to be. And it can often be the difference between success and failure, how well an entrepreneur or anybody deals with these emotions in their daily lives. And I can speak quite openly about this because my inability to manage these emotions historically has resulted in multiple lost businesses, multiple lost business partners, and I've almost been bankrupt because of it as well, which all of these scenarios are the darkest places of my life, and I wouldn't wish them upon my worst enemy. So my pledge to you is that there's no coincidence that, you know, since starting this running vlog that I've made, 8 months ago, I've made more progress in the last 8 months than I have in the previous 4 years. So hopefully there's enough evidence to suggest that this stuff works. And my pledge to you is that if you are somebody who's struggling with these issues and these challenges, drop me a message, okay? There's no catch here, I'm not selling you anything. I'll jump on a quick call and I'll talk you through some of the things that I do in my life that have made a huge difference to me, and hopefully they'll do the same to you. And it's sometimes really hard to reach out for help because we all struggle with this kind of entrepreneurial pride issue, or sin if you like, where we think we have to solve everything ourselves. But you know what, there's a lot more help available, and it doesn't cost anything if you're just prepared to ask. Now, many people have taken me up on this already, and I know we've made some really big positive impacts on so many people's lives. And like I say, this vlog was always set up because I always said that if we save just one entrepreneur or one business, then this vlog has been 1,000,000% worthwhile. So the help is there, you just have to ask. So that's pretty much it today. All that's left to say is that if you like this episode, please give it a like, a comment and a subscribe. If you want to see more similar content, please check out the playlist link in the YouTube channel. And all that's left to say is stay positive, stay happy, and see you tomorrow. Hiya.